Hello and welcome back to the I Hit Drums YouTube channel. Today is one of the episodes where I like to title it Tips for Teachers. And today I want to talk about how you can help pupils find the pulse within music. When a pupil first starts playing along to actual music, they often find it quite difficult to keep time, and this is understandable. Quite often they are reading music or they're playing a beat that they've recently learned, and now they're having to do that and do all that coordination whilst listening to something and keeping in time with that as well. And that's a lot. That's quite a lot for someone to actually process all at once. Something I think is really helpful when it comes to playing with music is being able to find the pulse. And by that, I actually mean like the quarter note pulse. If a pupil can find the quarter note, then it's much easier for them to transpose either written part or onto that quarter note pulse, or even if they're just doing a drum beat by ear, if they know where the 1, 2, 3, 4 is falling, it's much easier for them to actually keep that in time. And one of the most effective ways I've actually found in my own teaching of getting pupils to find this pulse is a bit of a silly one, but it's actually getting them to bop their head. So when you listen to music, a lot of music actually makes you want to, move. A lot of music has that pulse within it, which you can feel. So the easiest way to kind of encourage pupils to find that is to encourage them to kind of bop their head as they're listening to it. So actually getting them to do that with music, I found is one of the easiest ways and the quickest ways for them to find that pulse. Once they've found the kind of head bop speed, you can then explain where the 1 is. 1, 2, 3, 4. After they get familiar with a piece of music, that sense of where the 1 is becomes strong as well. Quite often within music, chords change on beat 1, whether it's a guitar chord or whether it's a piano chord. Sometimes it changes on beat 1 and beat 3, but you can usually find that quite quickly with a little bit of explanation. And after a while, the pupil is going to get a sense for that anyway. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm actually going to use some backing tracks by Tim Baltes. Timbo from Kino, he's known as on Instagram. He's released, I believe, 11 volumes. Yeah, 11 volumes so far of backing tracks. And they're like, the last kind of, 4 or 5 have got like 100 backing tracks on there. And the really good thing with these particular tracks is that there's no metronome click. If you're playing music with a metronome click in it, your pupil has that pulse kind of laid out for them. There's no discovering where it is, it's already there. But with the tracks that Tim does, there's no click, there's only music. So finding that pulse is part of the exercise, and that's going to help them develop their timing. These are available on Bandcamp for free, though you can donate some funds towards him, which you should do. So I'll put a link to that in the notes below. Let's check out one of these tracks. This is volume 10, the very first track. Sounds like this. So, can you find the pulse there? I mean, there's 2 potential pulses in a way. The slow one would be that's kind of your 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And notice how that kind of guitar part starts on the 1. 1. 1. Now, some pupils will double that speed, and that's fine, because that's kind of 8th notes, if you like. So that'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just that kind of bopping of the head. It's a bit silly, but it really helps pupils find the pulse. And then if you explain that in this track in particular, that guitar kind of rhythm starts on the 1 each bar, they now know when to begin that beat as well, whatever beat it is that they're playing. Let's check out another one. Let's just try the 2nd track. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, So there's a very clear bass line in this one. Do 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 do. So, pretty naturally, that bass line gives you a nice kind of feel, nice groove, and the head's bopping. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say that your pupil is playing the money beat. If you know that that's the pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, that's going to be the 1 and 2 and. So now it'll be bass and snare, bass and snare, and bass and snare, and bass and snare, and you could go at half speed. If the pupil's not able to play, eighth notes that fast, you could use that initial head bop and just do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I didn't start on the 1 there. Let's try again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in that case, if you're doing it at kind of half speed for that particular track, that's track 2 on volume 10, the whole phrase, the bass phrase that comes around is that lasting a whole bar. Whereas if you're doing it at the faster speed, it's da 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 da. So it's like a 2-bar phrase in that case. But that head bop thing is very effective. Your pupil's not always going to find the 1 straight away, but they will be able to keep time with that. And then, there's, like I said, there's over 100 tracks on this volume. So that's lots of opportunity for you to actually encourage your pupil to listen to music. And there's lots of variety as well, which I think is really important. Something else you can do when you've got access to this many tracks is let the pupil pick a number at random. This is very effective with younger pupils as well, because it makes it into a kind of game. So, you say, pick a number between 1 and 103. Now, I know there's 103 tracks on this volume, because I use it a lot. Thanks, Tim. But yeah, say to the pupil, pick a number between 1 and 103. And now they've got control of what the music is going to be. It's a bit of a mystery as well. And then you put on the track, and then, you listen to it. Some of them are harder than others, but a lot of them, particularly on this volume, I found are really good for this exercise. Likewise, if you're teaching in a group, I teach in groups of 2 a couple of times a week. So I'll say to one pupil, pick a number between 1 and 103, and they'll pick a number, and then I say, okay, that's what the other person is going to do. So it kind of makes it this weird kind of competitive kind of thing going on. And then that pupil tries to play along, and then pupil 2, let's call them, I say to them, okay, you pick a number between 1 and 103 for the other person to play. And then they kind of have this kind of battle trying to find a really tricky track for each other. And then just when you get them into that kind of false sense of security, if you like, you can get them to pick a track and then say, oh, actually, this one's for you now. And they'll be like, oh. So give that a try as well. Works really well in groups, works really well one-to-one. But let the pupil decide on the tracks. To begin with, if you know 1 or 2 that are really good, go with that. But then give them control, because they'll feel like they've got some control then over their own learning. And that's very important for when you're not there and they're playing at home. So that's about it for helping your pupils find the pulse with the music. I hope you found that helpful. If you're a teacher watching this, or even if you're a pupil and you've found other ways of finding that pulse when the metronome isn't there, do let me know. Put it in the comments below. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every week covering a range of topics from live performance to recording drums to beginner lessons, intermediate lessons, reading and theory, and then tips for teachers like today. If you're new to drums and you're not sure where to get started, then you can go to my website www.ihitdrums.co.uk, and you can subscribe to the website and get access to a free groove starter pack. This gives you a few grooves to help you get started, and also some songs you might want to check out, ones that you can use to play along to with those grooves. That's all for today. I hope you found that useful. But until next time, enjoy.